It's day one of Dmexco 2016. It's lovely to be here with Noam Korin from Playbuzz. How have you found your Dmexco experience so far?
Loving it, to be honest. Besides the fact that hotels are just so pricey and so full. I mean, we're three people sharing a room. The conference became just amazing. It's so big. I'm coming for the last 5 years, I think.
Right.
And it's just growing significantly.
What do you find you get out of Dmexco then if you've come so many times?
Well, you have to be organized with your Dmexco experience because it's so big. If you're not well organized in advance with meetings, you'll get lost.
Yes, we've had this actually. We've been quite booked up in advance, quite a long way.
And it's quite tiring. And you have to. I think that you have to find your corner, set your meetings there, and just back to back.
Well, you were saying you have one of those wheels that you can glide around on. You need one of those to glide around the conference, don't you?
Hoverboard. That's the way.
So what is it that you find makes this stand out from other festivals, though?
Well, first of all, the fact that it's in Germany yet very international means that the German digital advertising industry took a long jump. I mean, it started as OMD, Online Media Düsseldorf,
right.
Which was very small and very cozy, which actually I liked. And now, I mean, I think that
grown.
At least 50% of the people are foreigners, right? People are coming from the US, from all over the world, and this became a totally international event, which is amazing.
Speaking of international, I mean, the startup stage here has, I hear, grown a lot from last year, and I understand you're Israeli, am I correct?
Correct.
Now, I hear that there's a lot of good startups coming from Israel at the moment. Why do you think that's such a hot spot at the moment?
That's what they say, and I couldn't agree more. Israel is a very small market. It's a market of around 7.5 million people.
Right.
So the value proposition of scaling up, the best way to scale is actually create technology and promote it globally, so internationally. There's a lot of talent, and people are in their nature very eager. Lots of them, take some of it from the military experience, and in general, I mean, there's a lot of talent, a lot of brain, and the best they can do, or we can do, is create innovative technology, disruptive technologies, and then try to scale and take it, abroad. So you see companies like Taboola, Outbrain, Waze. It's all startups that are very young, and actually you can say that they've significantly impacted content consumptions, driving, navigation globally, which is amazing.
Talking about creating content, your motto is creating content that people love. What do you think are your tips for creating great content?
Well, Playbuzz has something like 15 different interactive content formats. Each one of them is growing from the data. So we are tracking the trends in the internet and the ways that people are consuming data, and we've seen the changes in data consumption and in content consumption ways. So 85% of the people don't read the entire articles. There is a huge bounce rate. People tend to consume more mobile, fast, snacky content. And unless you're matching and unless you're following these trends, you're losing out. So lots of publishers, we have something like 12,000 publishers. Most of the premium publishers that you probably know are using Playbuzz to stay relevant.
Right.
Because the user must be a part of the content. It's very challenging to engage users today. Users are dropping, fast and losing interest, not to talk about millennials. So you have to first of all use formats that will be friendly enough, mobile enough, quick enough, and fun enough for users in order to engage them.
One publisher that I think is really kind of getting it right for the millennial audience is probably Vice. And I saw Shane Smith talking earlier, talking about his work with Disney, which is someone I understand you've been working with as well. How did that come about?
So, we're a startup. We've raised so far something like $32 million. The last round was heavily involved by Disney, so we became like a Walt Disney company.
Amazing. I love a bit of Disney.
It's an amazing kosher stamp for us to say that the publishing world believes in Playbuzz, And we now starts the harder part, which means that we have to deliver. We're working with most of the leading publishers, so between the Daily Mail, Mirror, Huffington Post, they're all using us to stay relevant. And what we do now is actually taking it to the brands and to the agencies and help letting them create a meaningful dialogue, engaging dialogue with their users. Now, everyone says that, everyone is talking about native advertising. It's a very chewed term, but we actually last year we were the most shared site on Facebook for more than 6 months in a row without having any deal with Facebook. It's all organic growth. So it means that if you create a good format, whether you're a publisher, two boys in a garage, or a brand, if you use a good format that can host your content, you can make it shareable, you can create talkability, and you can deliver very high engagement rates.
What have been the main trends that you've noticed around Dmexco that people are talking about this year?
So, first of all, technology, I think more than ever, became a key channel that brands and agencies want to be involved in. I think that you cannot play a major role in the digital advertising world without having a strong tech arm. The question is how to make the right choice and to scale it up right.
Yeah.
So obviously brands want to be disruptive. So you see today small startups like ourselves working and competing with top players in the industry. You've mentioned BuzzFeed and Vice and BuzzFeed. We admire those companies, but we've seen that being a publisher has some kind of a glass ceiling, and we decided to go for the platform game, which is a bit more wide. So brand can actually distribute their conversation and their sponsored content to different publishers through a platform rather than just sticking to one, if it makes sense.
So what's your opinion on Mark Zuckerberg saying that Facebook is in fact a tech company and not a publisher? Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, users are smarter, and half of the ads that are served are not being seen because of ad blockers, because of the fact that users are ignoring ads, being sarcastic and all that. And the companies have, brands and agencies and everyone must target in a smarter way, which is, by the way, opposite to what Facebook did now. But, targeting, engaging users, you must use technologies that will allow you to show the relevant piece of content to the relevant users. So if you don't do that, and if you're not a tech player and only a publisher, I think today you're staying a bit behind.
But do you think it's an only, or you can only be one or the other, or do you think you can be both?
Absolutely both. I think you must be both, yeah.
So what has Playbuzz got to look forward to in the imminent future?
I think that we're at a very interesting point right now. We're at an exciting area that is called content marketing.
Yep.
And content marketing and sponsored content is something that everyone speak about, but I think nobody, including us probably, knows how to do it right. How do you scale it? How do you go beyond ads that are irritating? How do you go beyond ad blockers and all that? How do you create specific piece of content that will be tailored to the relevant segments that you're after, yet do it in a scalable way? So that's the challenge that we're coming to solve. And it's an amazing challenge. We get it. I mean, what's an amazing challenge? It's a difficult challenge, but we get amazing feedbacks from agencies and from brands. We're working now with quite of a wide spectrum of advertisers. So from Ford to Halifax to Unilever, Clinique, Danone. I mean, we didn't expect it to be that way. We just help them to make a boring story more tasty, more sexy.
So what sexy things are you looking forward to for the rest of Dmexco?
Well, I'm a bit concerned about tonight. There's a big party coming up, right? Yeah.
Tumblr and Vice, right?
Yeah. And actually my biggest concern is the M&M dinner. That should be very sexy. But
super sexy.
I just love these events where, and we're seeing it more than ever, brands are getting very close to startups and to tech, and it's, it's becoming, the discussion is now in, in one room. Like Stream started a few years ago, WPP started a few years ago to connect innovators and young startups with brands through a, casual dialogue. And today, more than ever, I think that all brands understand that they must be take part of this dialogue, otherwise they will stay behind. And it's an amazing thing. There's a lot of information, and you have to know how to choose smartly.
Lovely to talk to you, and I hope you really enjoy the rest of Dmexco.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.